Buckshot Roulette. It's a Buckshot Roulette. So, this,
much more upbeat theme song than the vibe of this game.
No, I know. Buckshot Roulette. Do-do-do. Buckshot Roulette. Sorry, but...
Something more along the lines of like one of our heavier songs or something fits this kind of vibe, like industrial kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's actually like the music that plays in the game when you first load into it, like, cause it's like outside of a club. And
yeah.
From like downstairs, you know.
Yeah, and you're in the bathroom and the sounds are in there too. It's just, yeah. This video was sent in by a certain beast, Nick the Wicker Beast. So if you want to know who to blame for this, feel free to say thanks, Nick the Wicker Beast, down in the comment section. So yeah, a video essay on how this game perfected suspense. So I like
video essays. I'm just concerned that I'm not going to be the best at reacting to a video essay.
Well, it depends on what the content of the video essay is. There's a lot of people out there whose video essays I don't find as engaging. I watched a little bit of this.
I find them engaging. I just intend to get riveted in listening to them. You know, so.
I hear you, but where you played Buckshot Roulette a fair amount, and I haven't had a chance to really play it that much, but the fact that I've seen enough videos concerning it. I mean, I would like to think that we would have enough commentary about the things and the comparatives that he's going to go with on this. And if it's something that I truly have something to say about, then I'll talk about it. But I just want everyone to know that, yeah, we're doing these as what are called we're being bribed. So I'll just be honest, we're being bribed into doing these. They have blackmail against me. They have uncensored pictures of DJ Fatass's face, and I don't need those out on the internet.
That explains it.
I know, right? So, anyway, just so that my pictures, the pictures of DJ Fatass do not make it out on the internet. We're here because I want to protect DJ Fatass's privacy. So, anyway, here we go with the video essay, How This Game Perfected Suspense, Buckshot Roulette.
That
Again! Oh.
Dang it, YouTube. This is one part of the game you never really get to hear when you're watching YouTubers play it, because they're usually playing multiplayer, you know?
Yeah.
You deserve every bit of this.
Do you remember Resident Evil 7's 21 DLC?
Yes.
Of course you do, because I do. It was a saw trap-esque minigame that the player was able to purchase for a solid $20? That's like fifth of my grocery money for the week. Anyways, it took the concept of a simple card game and turned it into a fun, wacky survival game meant for the entire family. It upped the stakes of just regular gambling and allowed you to gamble how much your pain tolerance is able to take. It was a relatively short game mode that was thoroughly enjoyable because you weren't just playing blackjack. You were playing blackjack with cheats. Lucas, by the way, Lucas is the fellow who put you in the saw trap for those who haven't played or seen the DLC, hands the player and the opponent trump cards. Cards that can assist in besting your enemy in the round. These cards can range from allowing you to draw specific cards, increasing bets, decreasing damage, altering whether a player increases or decreases the limit of 21, etc., etc., and so forth.
I was like, somebody must have been inspired by that RE7 DLC.
Oh, I know, right? and rightfully so. Look, I mean, this was a great DLC. This was a great game.
It's dark as hell, but
well, yeah.
As is Buckshot Roulette, if you think about it. So, man.
Yeah, although not as hyper violent because you're not having your fingers sawed off or chopped off or being electrocuted to death. Instead, you just either have a shotgun blast to the face from someone else, or you turn the gun on yourself and have a lead breakfast. So, yeah.
which added to the excitement of the game. It changed it to less of a game of chance and more of a game of skill and strategy. And chance. It made the game exciting, as you can turn seemingly dead hands into the best hand in existence. This dark twist on the— by the way, I say dark lightly. This dark twist on a well-known card game refreshes it and allows it to draw intrigue and work itself into the question of survival. How far will this go? Who's the guy that I'm fighting? What's his story? Why the hell does Lucas have so many of these TVs, and where did he get an electric execution device? I'm sorry. I had trouble saying that line for some reason. Anyways, my point is it brought an interesting spin on a card game, adding survival elements, a raised stake type beat setting, and supplementary tools to assist the player in gaining the advantage. I just wish there was another game that had similar mechanics. Everyone has heard of Inscription.
Yeah.
And I sure hope you do, because it's a really good
Inscription, my god. Just how deep this game is blew me away. And how, like, everything about it, and then right when you think that you're done, oh no, post-production Nate, please cut that part out, because I want to save people the surprise of that if they haven't, and it hasn't already been spoiled for them.
Go play Inscription
So
if you haven't played
go
it
play
yet.
Inscription.
It's awesome.
You will not regret it. It is a tremendous card game.
games. Like, insanely, I love it. Like, it's one of my If you don't know, Inscription is basically roleplay incarnate within a card game and an escape room. A roguelike card game that takes you, the player, on an infinite loop until you're able to escape this cabin through a variety of puzzles. There's also like an ARG thing in the game, but that's for you to discover, whatever.
I'm the Lucky Carter, and this is another pack opening video. I told you!
Much like Resident Evil's 21, it takes a card game concept and slaps survival game mechanics, raised stakes settings, and gives you supplementary items to assist you on your journey against an a-hole GM that takes ERP way too seriously.
It's also
And
very
I love
dark.
it. Like I said before, this game builds on the idea
Like, one of my
of a
favorite
survival
mechanics is
card
the
game.
fact that you're counting your damage with teeth. Like, and they're fake teeth at first, but you can get an item that's a pair of pliers and actually pull out one of your own teeth to put on the scale to tip it in your direction.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
also,
that's brutal.
and also you get another thing too.
There's another couple things that are kind of messed up in it.
Yeah, a certain item.
Yeah, item.
Yeah. Anyway.
As when you game over in the game, within the game, you game over. Also in the game. But then you get put into a card. A big appeal of Inscription's gameplay loop is the manipulation of cards. Unlike RE7's 21, that's a name, the GM allows you to make cards overpowered via a variety of mechanics in the hub phase. Increasing cards' attack or HP via bonfire, slicing two identical cards and stitching them together to increase their combat capabilities, and performing a sacrifice of a card to make another card inherited abilities is all part of the course, with very little limits preventing you from wiping this guy's entire lineage from your hard drive. Inscription itself is a good build on the card game survival genre, adding more mechanics that allow the player to thrive in its environment, allowing them to overcome challenges through their ingenuity. The cards are only limited through luck, the player's adaptability to their given set, and how they're able to alter their stats via a variety of situations. The downside is, you can be totally broken and completely suck the fun out of the tense game of life and being jammed into a card situation. Once you cross that border of becoming stronger than the GM, then the game drops its appeal from the stakes that are supposed to be at play. I'm not saying the game is bad for allowing the player to do this.
Yes and no.
Yesn't.
I mean, that's the thing, is it's kind of like a pity system. Like, they want you to be able to eventually get to the point where you can beat him at least once.
Yeah, and it's a learning experience.
And like the first several runs, like, you're not going to have a chance. So
No.
you kind of have to pass that border of being a little bit overpowered to be able to stand a chance, basically.
Yes, and it's okay that, you know, you have those moments where you fail, because it's not like the game ends. It just restarts. And it's a roguelike. And that's what they're going for.
Yeah, and I mean, like, when you get to the point where you're overpowered, you feel like you've earned it at this point from playing over and over again and trying and becoming more strong in terms of what cards you have access to and such. So.
Oh yeah. Well, Let's keep it going.
It's just something that the player can do and break the tension built in the game. It's a horror game after all. Tension is important to build atmosphere and setting, which are major contributors to how horror scares the player. This is the effect of having cards being carried over from each gameplay loop that allow this issue to happen most of the time. Remember when I said you can be put into a card? That card is playable after it's been created, and uses stats from cards drawn from the player's deck for the run. Each stat has the option to be inherited from 3 random cards from the current deck of the player, that the player can choose from. Sometimes the player can get bad draws and ends up with a terrible player card. Or they can get a no-cost card that can either have insane HP, attack, or attributes. If the player picks up this card on their next run, then they have something that can make the game a cakewalk. Now, I can't speak for RE's 21, as I've never played it, but it doesn't seem to have this carryover issue, as each game is its own isolated loop. Even if one brings trump.
Yes, it's straightforward.
There was a little bit while I was playing it where I was like, I don't know if I'll actually be able to finish this, and then I got a really good run like shortly after that. I was like, oh, suck it, Lucas.
Yeah. And he's like, damn it.
How the hell did you do that? You must be cheating, kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
Cards over to the next game in its survival mode. The best ones are rare and one-time use, only being used if the player needs to clutch the round. Furthermore, survival enemies have their own unique trump cards that keep the player on their toes, keeping tension within the gameplay loop. The only issue the game presents itself with is that it can be pretty predictable before the winner of the round is revealed. I'll have Lucas explain why this is so.
Okay, Hoffman, you're next. These cards are numbered 1 to 11. No doubles, and you share the same deck.
So a player can just count the cards.
Hey, that's a nice deck.
11 cards in total, minus the 2 given to both players, leaves 7 cards remaining. The player knows what's in their hand, and what's in their opponent's hand minus 1. In relation, there will be a lot of times when you will know 100% that you have lost. Pass 21 with no trump card to put you back in the game, lost. Opponent plays draw X trump card, maybe a perfect draw with no counter trump card, most likely a loss.
Right here, I would be done. I would say I'm done. Because there's nothing that, well, actually I take that back. There's plenty.
The player can figure out their round is a loss due to the limited trump cards given out per round and through counting cards. Therefore, tension is lost even with.
They've upped it to 27.
Upped it to 27.
Yeah, so he can have you've got a 6 and a 2 and a 5. He's got a 4 and a 3. That still leaves 7, 8, and 9, which either one of those, 7 won't beat you, the 8 will tie you, and the 9 will beat you. So you got to be careful there.
The trump card mechanic, as it can be so predictable a lot of the time. So, how would the card game survival genre capture tension at all times and also keep the player grounded to prevent the player from overpowering the opponent? I wish there was. You can figure out where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Take out the cards.
And thus we arrive at Buckshot Roulette.
You wake up in a grimy club washroom filled with pill bottles and probably several diseases. Afraid is marked on one of the sink mirrors.
Afraid.
Subtle. You follow the blaring music, kicking the door onto the scaffolding where a lone guy smokes his cigarette. The party seems to be coming from down below, as lights flash in a rhythmic fashion to the steady beat of the music. With no way to go but forward, you kick the second door to find a gambling table with a ring, surrounded by wires, stereos, massive stage lights, and other general objects. Out from the darkness approaches 2 disconnected hands, followed by an odd, vaguely human face.
Vaguely human? Looks like Mr.
He's got 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, but that's about all you can say for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he's got looks like Mr. Pac-Man, like, on like meth. It's like, Miss Pac-Man left me and now I'm suicidal. You want to play a game?
Please sign the waiver.
Fancy yourself a player, eh? Alright.
You, as a player, are now stuck playing Russian roulette, but with a shotgun. The first round is simple. This is the only part of the game that is solely luck and observation. With the power of probability and logical thinking, you can surpass this with little to no issue. To the right, you can see yours and the dealer's health bar signified by charges. So if you happen to accidentally catch a bullet, as long as you have charges, the defibrillator will bring your soul back from the grave. But if you happen to be insanely unlucky, the man we saw earlier will defib you and allow you to try your luck once again. He also happens to know your name. Perhaps he knows more than we initially thought, but that's theories for another time. Besting the dealer brings you to stage 2.
Boom.
Let's make this a little more interesting.
Another round.
Introducing the item system. Like a magician, you can pull out a variety of items out from the dealer's item box. From beers, handsaws, cigarettes.
Ugh.
I love that detail.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. That was a joke, right?
Yeah.
That was a joke, right?
And just like put it back in the box, just like I'm gonna act like I didn't see that.
Another time. Let me go through what each item does really quick. Beer. Like a frat boy, you chug an entire can of beer to rack the shotgun, allowing you to see what would have been shot, dwindling the options within the shotgun, and allowing you to make smarter decisions.
Yeah. Magnifying glass
Cigarette
is overpowered.
takes the edge off. Only smoke one and throw the rest out to increase the number of charges to your health bar by 1. Remember, you can only go as high as the number of charges you were given at the beginning of the round. Handsaw. Turn the shotgun into a sawed-off shotgun. Doubles the damage done by live rounds. But I'm not sure if sawing off the barrel would actually hurt more than a regular barrel.
Just depends, because some actually depends on the shotgun, because some shotguns actually have a choke built in at the end of it, and thus you're only allowed to use certain types of ammunition. Whereas if you saw it off, you basically make it to where the exit of the barrel is way bigger, and thus they can use custom ammunition like, I don't know, a roll of dimes, which will literally saw your ass in half. I've seen what it's done to like those ballistics gel dummies with like a full pack load in it with full wadding. Holy hell. It was literally standing there, and just you see it go in, and it spreads out. It spread out and just went, and then the body just like slumped over, and it was like, Jesus. So yeah, sawing off the end of the shotgun can make it more damaging, just depends on the ammunition that you're using. And depends on the shotgun, because some shotguns don't have a choke.
I mean, buckshot is buckshot. Handcuffs. Get a bit frisky and cuff up your opponent. Skips their next turn until they break free.
It would probably make it hurt less, because if the spread would be wider, and it would be more likely that some of it would miss you. You know.
That's true. That's true.
But at the same
Looks
time,
like
at
the
this
dealer
range,
is more
it's
than
probably
willing, while
not
the
likely that it's going to miss you much, like whether it be sawed off or not either. So.
That's true.
player is
You've got to be shitting me.
magnifying glass. Look into the chamber by... But why? This round, you're allowed to take 2 random items out of the box, and after each consequential round, up to 8 items total. Now the game is about observation, logical thinking, and luck. How will you, as a player, make the most optimal play with what items you have, tipping probability in your favor? This makes the game very similar to the other 2 I mentioned mechanic-wise, but also, the board is always changing. Because not only you get 2 random items that greatly impact odds of survival, but the dealer does too from the same pot. as to make it even across the field. With the field always changing, you need to be thinking, how do I guarantee that he is not able to hurt me, if not minimize my damage with the items that I have, and also prevent them from using their items to their fullest. Because of this, it's an improvement on the previous 2 games by being able to keep up the tension by having
100%.
these game-altering items replenish
You're at
frequently.
a 100%
It even gets
there.
rid of the issue that 21 had of predictability, because you can change so much to help or harm your odds. And the release from the tension will not come until the last live round pushes the dealer back into the darkness or makes your screen go
You're
black.
about to get shot back.
Yeah.
Killed right there.
Yeah, you using your beers right there may have seemed like a smart play to get a one-off on him, but if I would have seen that he had the saw there to make it a double shot, oh boy. I mean, after all, I'm used to taking double shots. I mean,
Furthermore, with the variety of trump cards in 21 with varying strengths, sometimes certain cards have inconsequential effects for the immediate situation. This would mean that if you don't have a card to save you in the immediate situation, it contributes to the predictability issue presented beforehand. In Buckshot Roulette, most items contribute to adjusting the scale of probability in your favor. Handcuffs indirectly increases the chance of hitting your opponent with a live shot, since there is no reason not to shoot at them if their turn is skipped. Beer adjusts the ratio of lives to blanks by racking the shotgun. Magnifying glass allows you to make logical moves instead of assumptions based on what you saw, adjusting luck in your favor. Handsaw increases the chance of winning the game as a whole by dealing double damage and indirectly negating a single cigarette.
Damn.
And on the other side, cigarettes increases charges, therefore increasing chances of winning the game as a whole. One can argue that raising bets in 21 is similar in mechanics to the sawed-off shotgun and the shield to cigarettes, therefore making this argument invalid. But this simply isn't the case, as the health system works differently in each game. 21's is a possibility of being hit by X amount, while Buckshot Roulette is an instant gratification for each action, therefore making each item count as the player uses it. In 21, bets stack up for a chance to hit. If both players draw, then the raises are negated, leaving both players unharmed for the current round. Even if raises increase the tension of the game, it loses its tension completely if the player has already predicted the outcome of the round through the previously mentioned method of counting cards. Counting shells is different in this game as long as there's still a live round mixed in with blanks. The outcome remains unknown to both of you, always keeping the player in a high state of tension. That is the key word, unknown. You will never know who will get the live round until it is shot, or if you have a magnifying glass. For 21, you can assume pretty easily. The draw X cards can't be activated if the card is already on the table. Play the card, but the card doesn't come out of the deck and you can't see it? Guess where it is? It's the hidden card your opponent has. By using context clues of the opponent's used trump cards and what cards are on the board, the suspense does not sustain, as you can probably guess what their hidden card is. There are a variety of cards that can help you deduct what your opponent's last card is, and as good as that may be, with very little cards in the deck, the results suffer from predictability.
Just left that in and subtitled it.
So as I was like,
Something that Buckshot Roulette suffers much less from. The only example of predictability that comes to mind is when the player is cuffed and there's 2 rounds with a live among them. Which at that point, the player should have attempted to avoid the situation by prematurely ending their turn, allowing the dealer to have more shells to work with. Once you deplete the dealer's health once more, you can reach the final round, signified on the dashboard by a skull.
At long last, we arrive at the final showdown. No more defibrillators. No more blood transfusions. Now, me and you, we are dancing on the edge of life and death. Shit! Four items each.
The handcuffs are strong too.
yeah.
You know the drill.
The dealer gets all riled up, not even reading out
the voice acting he added.
I like it too. Hey, creator of the game, Make that an option. Don't make it a require. Don't make it like all part of the game. Make it an option to have voices. I think that actually would be pretty cool.
The number of lives and blanks in the tube, as you should now be familiar with the mechanics at this point. The only change to this round is that you can now draw 4 random items instead of 2 at the start of each new round, building your arsenal quickly and opening up plenty of possibilities of comboing items each round. Furthermore, there are 2 cracked charges on either side of the dash. If either player enters that region, their wires are cut by the machine that just rose from the ground, giving no more chances to revive once they're shot one last time. Cigarettes cannot bring you back from this state, as the line has already been cut. This is where you can get one of 2 endings. Lose the last round and...
Where am I?
Welcome to heaven. Heaven? But there's ginormous spikes erected from the ground accompanied by a heavy flurry of unknown objects falling behind the player. And an all-consuming light in the sky. There's no way we can tell that this is heaven. Of anything, this is purgatory. As there's no clear indication of what this place is through imagery alone, one would have to turn to the soundtrack for help. The track that plays in the background is called You Are an Angel, confirming this theory. The tracks tend to be labeled specifically to reference something happening in the current scene. Blank Shell is the title theme, setting up the premise of using blank shells for the game. General release refers to the general lease of liability form. Before every load is what the dealer says when introducing the item system. Socket calibration refers to the machine that rises from the ground in the final game. Monochrome LCD is when either player's health has no more charges and their lines are cut off, making the screen monochrome. 70k refers to the amount of money won if the player runs through a perfect game. And finally, You Are an Angel, which only happens if the player was permitted into heaven. Continuing on, if the player walks through the gates, not like they have much of a choice, they begin to float into the sky, being consumed by the light. This is the bad ending, and if you hit retry,
Is this... Did you miss me?
I better not see you again.
you're back where you started, with all the progress you've made thus far, and a disdained comment from the dealer. Clearly, this was not supposed to happen in their eyes, or lack thereof, meaning the player is somewhat of an anomaly.
To be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with how that worked. I was like, they seem like they're raising the stakes higher in the last round and stuff, and yet they're really not, because you can just restart from the beginning of the last round if you lose.
Yeah, I'm hoping that in the future, if the guy keeps expanding on this game, if either with the next game or with this game, there'll be like choices of different rooms that you can go into to play different levels of the game, and you can also like bet and like gamble with stuff. The higher difficulty you go up, and that also adds new stakes and adds new like problems and new items and stuff like that to the game. Like, that's what I would do if I'm the creator of this. That's what I'm doing. Instead of just having the one room, instead I would have it to where you can click the guy and just be like, hey, are there any other games going on? I thought you'd never ask. And then he like turns you back around, and then you go to the other side of the bathroom and you go out the other one. Then you're on the catwalk to the other side, and then there's another door for you to go into where it's an even harder version of the game. I mean, that's what I would do personally. But what they do with this game is their choice. They built it.
No matter how much the dealer may hate their opponent, there's nothing they're able to do, only threatening them and allowing them a second chance. So, let's try this again.
Let us finish this.
Two red lights resembling eyes beam from the darkness that the dealer came from and was sent back to once again. The player gets their reward, depending on how well they perform their entire run. You defeated the evil, but have you really? The player knows that they can hurt the dealer as his face deforms after the first time they've shot it, and signified from the blood after landing final blows. But unlike the player, they don't require a defib to get back up from death. So are they truly gone? The end shows that the player drives off with their prize money, along with the shotgun used throughout the game. And this forcibly shuts the game down. Now, I'm not saying that Buckshot Roulette is a way better game than Inscription or RE21, but it's a prime example of how to make the player feel tension almost always. I'd even mention how the music in this game enhances the experience as a whole, setting the mood with electronic and rhythmic beats that perfectly accompany the setting and make one feel that every decision makes an impact. It's diegetic too, which is nice, setting up the setting of the club. Furthermore, it leaves the player asking questions about the universe this world is set in, through its environmental storytelling and general story prompts. What place...
Huh?
What you looking at?
That cable fell down that was stuck up there. It just went. It just went.
I saw it was moving slightly. I was like, is there a ghost?
Yeah, maybe. Also, I went up earlier to check on the dogs. They were both laying down, so they were fine.
What that weird sound was earlier.
What is this, and why is it so grimy? Who is the dealer? Who is the guy on the scaffolding, and how does he know your name? What powers allow the shotgun to rebuild itself after being sawed off? Is the death screen really heaven? And most of all, why did God play this game, and how did he lose? So many questions are left unanswered and may never be answered. It can be built on, but most is left to interpretation, allowing the player to make assumptions themselves and invest themselves in the world. That is the brilliance of Buckshot Roulette. Buckshot. Fuck.
Buckshot. Fuck. Oh boy. All right. So
I like these kind of videos a lot, just so y'all know, because this is 90% of what I listen to when I drive around in my car nowadays. It's like video essays on video games.
what?
Inscription mentioned.
Hold on. Let me. There we go. Figured that'd be a pretty funny comment there. So
only one person, I don't know what that last bit was. Hey, I watched that one today too.
Which one?
Dark Seed.
Oh.
By Early Bird.
Oh wow.
It's actually popped up in my recommended. And it's the first time I've ever seen Early Bird.
Nice.
She was pretty good on the video. She was funny as well.
Huh.
I'd never actually heard of Dark Seed. I was like, holy crap, there was an H.R. Geiger game back in MS-DOS days? I didn't realize that. Apparently it's evil, though.
It is.
Badly made, kind of, in certain regards.
Yeah, I've heard about Dark Seed. It's up there with, like, games that are so poorly made that the person who made them had to be a masochist.
Well, it was made by like 3 people, and the lead developer also is the main character and main voice actor and director. He had to basically do all of it just because he ran out of time and money, because all of the money spent was basically for getting H.R. Geiger to be like, yeah, you can use my art. So that was the whole deal. And he even said after the fact that he was like, yeah, in retrospect, the game was kind of a little bit mean in regards in terms of, like, you know, not telling the players when they've basically lost. And so she was talking about, yeah, it's sure enough, she had to restart the game like twice because she missed items early in the game that basically soft locks you in the game. And
damn.
It was just easier to restart than to try to go back and find a save before it was soft locked.
Oh shit. Well,
other than that, it looked pretty cool. Yeah, this was a good one. I liked
I agree.
Anna Milky's take on it.
Yep. So
Buckshot Roulette is a really cool game.
I agree. Can't wait. I can't wait to play it, and I'd like to play it. I might try and do the multiplayer thing with certain members of our like community game night. See what happens. We'll see. But anyway, let us know what y'all thought. And Animilky VA, hopefully you enjoyed our reaction to this. Also, Nick the Wicker Beast, thank you for recommending this to us. This was actually a really good, informative video, and we thank you for that. So, I guess until next time, everybody, signing off, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.